Okay, so there are a billion things that we need to juggle every single day, right? From performing well at work to nurturing all our friendships and relationships to keeping on top of our finances and also maintaining our health and fitness, whilst working on our side hustles and also keeping our house clean, whilst remembering to have fun, and whilst also trying to make sure that we get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. And somehow we need to balance all of that while still staying sane. It is a lot, okay? It's a lot. And if you are anything like me, then you can very easily get overwhelmed by all of these things. So over the years, I've tried to find ways to simplify my life in order to cut out all the noise and basically free up my emotional and mental bandwidth. Quitting these 4 things that I will cover in today's video was really the unlock that I needed to live a more stress-free life. So if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed and stressed out a lot, these are things that I guarantee you can start implementing immediately today in order to live a more stress-free life and to stop living life in hard mode. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Tika and I post videos on evidence-based self-improvement to help you live your healthiest, wealthiest, and most fulfilling life. If you like that sort of content, then do subscribe to never miss a video. So the first thing I quit is being an optimizer. I first came across this term from a podcast episode with Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozi. And by the way, it's a really fantastic episode, so I'll put a link in the description below. Optimizers are basically people who are like, okay, I need to sleep 8 hours every night and also hit the gym 6 days a week. And I also need to be killing it at work and making a lot of money in my side hustles. And I need to make sure I have my lemon water and do my meditation every single morning. I need to have a thriving social life and a thriving romantic relationship. In a nutshell, it's basically pressuring yourself to be killing it in all areas of your life all the time. You are optimizing everything so that you can have it all. Not gonna lie, this is something that I have personally struggled with my whole life and I still struggle with to this day. But right now, I'm trying to be a lot more conscious about it. And to be honest, if you guys are watching my content, I feel like a lot of you can relate to this too. In the podcast episode, Hormozi basically says that the stress of being perfect is killing you more than your imperfections. In life, you're going to have seasons where you will naturally focus on certain things more than others. Because realistically, we can't give our full attention to every single thing and also expect to excel in each of those things. You need to sacrifice certain things and drop the ball in certain areas for an extended period of time. Because if you were to optimize everything and try to be balanced, then you won't get the outsized returns that you really want in those specific areas of your life that you want to focus on in this particular season. So in this particular season of my life, I've been wanting to prioritize my YouTube channel as well as my health and fitness. And with a full-time job that eats up most of my week, I've had to drop the ball with other things. The biggest one I would say is spending time with friends and family. And I know what you're thinking, God, how can she be such an awful person, not texting her friends back and not meeting her mom every single week? Girl, trust me, I know. I have been guilt-tripping myself so much over this, okay? Truthfully, I only have the capacity to have one social outing in a week. And to be honest, most weekends, I would prefer to just be on my own and do my own things and work on YouTube or read and stuff. It's been nagging on me a lot and I feel so guilty for not performing well in this area. I feel really bad if I don't see my mom in a while or if I have to reschedule an outing with a friend more than twice, which by the way happens, right? Can we all normalize this? And although I say I'm prioritizing health and fitness in this season, I find myself still dropping the ball in certain areas of my health. And the biggest one that always falls through is my sleep. I'm really good when it comes to consistently clean and healthy eating and with going to the gym consistently, but when it comes to sleep, it's just, I struggle so hard. And I end up stressing myself out over that too. And to help combat that, I've actually started this 3-month stress reset thing, which is basically a program that is supposed to help me fix my sleep. I got it from this book here called The 5 Resets, Rewire Your Brain and Body for Less Stress and More Resilience. And it's basically written by this Harvard stress specialist. Just out of curiosity, let me know in the comments below if you guys also struggle with getting consistently good sleep. And if you'd like to see a video on how to go about fixing that. I think it would be pretty interesting to document that experience and to share that with you guys, especially if you might find it helpful. So do let me know in the comments below. But back to being an optimizer. Bottom line is you cannot be performing at 100% in every area of your life. And if you are trying to achieve anything worthwhile in 1 or 2 aspects of your life, then you need to sacrifice other things in the meantime. And honestly, this was such a hard pill for me to swallow. But now I've started to normalize this for myself and to be kinder with myself when I do have to drop drop the ball sometimes. And having that mindset shift has helped to lift a huge weight off my shoulders. The second thing that I quit was I stopped caring about how my peers choose to live their lives. In Asia, there's a very specific expectation of what your life is supposed to look like, and I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with this blueprint. First, it's graduating from a good university, and then you need to go find a really good job at a big company, and then you gotta prioritize your fancy titles and getting your promotions and your salary increments. Then at the same time, you also need to find a serious partner to then get engaged with and then eventually get married to. And guys, I cannot tell you how many engagement and wedding posts I have seen of my peers in the last 3 years alone. I'm 27, by the way, and these are all people that I went to school with and university with, which I find so wild. With my career, I started working in banking about 3 years ago after I graduated from university. And the allure of having a sexy title and having a swanky office job and all the perks that go with that got old for me real quick. I quickly realized that this is not me, and to be honest, I didn't want to admit that to myself for a very long time. And the reason was because everyone else around me was very much set on that grind. I felt like an outsider trying to be an insider, and that experience was extremely isolating for me, and I felt a lot of shame about not wanting to be a part of this life. So I would never open up to friends about this, and to be honest, only very few people in my life actually know exactly how I feel about this topic. But sometime last year, I really just reached a breaking point, and I got so burnt out and I could just barely function in my job. I told myself, shit, I can't do this anymore. And I don't mean just this specific job, I mean just working in a corporate environment in general. I've reached a point now where I can't even fathom being in the same position a year from now, let alone 5 years from now, or even for the rest of my life. So in January of this year, and this is a little bit of a mini announcement, I guess, I quit my job, and right now the plan is just to go and visit my sister in Sweden, who I haven't seen in several years. All I intend to do there, honestly, is just to spend time with family and go and explore Sweden and make more content for YouTube and just allow myself the time and space to do the things that I love in an unreserved and unapologetic way for an extended period of time. And then after that, I guess I'll figure out what the next step is. When I tell people, especially colleagues and friends that I'm not particularly close to, that I quit my job without having another one lined up, their eyebrows immediately shoot up. Eyebrows are through the roof. The first question that they'll ask me is, oh, so are you gonna go apply for jobs whilst you're in Sweden? What's your plan gonna be after that? And every time I can low-key feel the judgment coming from them because it's not exactly the typical or responsible path. When this happens, I remind myself of the book The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. And Bronnie was basically a nurse who was caring for patients who were terminally ill. And what she did was she documented the top 5 regrets that her patients had towards the end of their lives. And one of the top 5 regrets that they had, out of all the regrets that you could possibly have in your life, was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. That thought haunts me a lot on a daily basis. And to be honest, the scariest part about dying for me is not the actual dying itself, but rather dying without having achieved and done all the things that I want to in this lifetime. The older I get, the more I realize how I don't want to waste any more time being in environments and situations that make me feel unhappy and unfulfilled. And that includes to not stay in careers that leave my soul empty. I keep reminding myself that it is okay to carve your own path and to break out of the mold that society or your community has cast for you. Because trying to fit my life into that mold honestly feels like trying to squeeze a square into a circle. Honestly, that shit just hurts. Nothing is more painful than not living a life true to you. Of course, it's easier said than done because not following the blueprint that everyone else around you is following can be super lonely and can be very scary. But another thing I've realized to counter that point is that you can always just go and find your own people. With the internet these days, it's easier than ever to find people who have the same interests and who are going in the same direction that you are. A great example of this was when I first started my YouTube channel and I was doing it all on my own and it felt very lonely and scary and stressful. But then I found friends in the YouTube space and it's been the best thing that's ever happened. We would talk on a regular basis and basically help to give each other feedback and advice and just help to make each other feel supported, if anything. That alone has made a tremendous difference in my life. The energy and inspiration that it gives me to keep going is unparalleled. The third thing that I quit was doing everything myself. A few years back, a friend of mine told me something that her mom told her, and it has stuck with me ever since. What she said was, if you have the money to help you solve a problem, then just spend the money to solve the problem. So for example, if you have an issue at home, like, I don't know, your plaster is coming off your walls, or your pipes keep getting clogged, or you've got a mold issue, instead of DIYing it yourself when you really hate that sort of thing, and especially if it's going to take you a really long time to research what to do and actually fix the problem, just hire someone else to fix it, especially if you have the means to do so. And that's when I really started to view money as this useful tool that can help me to save time and effort and stress. I used to think that paying someone to do something that you could potentially do yourself was a huge waste of money. But to be honest, it really takes a huge burden off your shoulders, and sometimes you don't even have to dish out that much money in order to do so. What I've done, and what I would encourage you guys to do as well, is to identify the tasks that you do on a daily basis that either take up a lot of your time or stress you out or you just really don't like doing, and try to see how you can just not do those things anymore. Maybe by paying someone else or hiring a service to do it for you. For example, I really like my place clean and tidy at all times, but I really dislike cleaning because of how much time and energy it takes me, because I'm just really not an efficient cleaner. It was just over a year ago that I decided to hire a cleaning service to deep clean my place every single month. And just as a disclaimer, I live in Malaysia where this sort of service is actually very cheap. And to be honest, every month I only pay about 40 ringgit, which amounts to around $8 US. And you can do this with pretty much anything. So for example, if you have a dog and you hate walking them, then you can hire someone to walk your dog for you. Or for example, if you have a YouTube channel and you really hate how much time it takes you to edit videos, then that's something that you can outsource as well. The possibilities are endless. The final thing that I quit is I stopped overbooking my schedule. My toxic trait is that I will overbook my schedule and pack too many things in a day, even though I know fully well that I really don't like it and I get overwhelmed very easily. I'll try to have only 2 really important things that I need to get done in a day, and if I manage to do extra, then great. But as long as I get those 2 things done, then I'll be happy. The point is that so I'm not rushing to go from one thing to the next, and let's say if one activity or task overruns, then it'll have a domino effect on all the other things that you have to do, and that's just a stressful situation to be in. Another thing that I like doing nowadays is blocking out calm time in my calendar, and this is something that I got from Deep Work by Cal Newport. It has honestly been such a game changer. We often book productive tasks in our calendar, but we don't do the same with our leisure time. Booking out calm time in my calendar basically helps to trick my brain into thinking that this is an important task that I need to get done, and that forces me to do it. And to be honest, it is an important task. You need calm and leisure time in your day. If you think otherwise, then miss, you are mistaken. It's important to be really specific with what you will do in that block of calm time. Otherwise, you might not know what you want to do in that time, and you just end up wasting a lot of time trying to decide what it is that you want to do, and maybe at the end of the day, you might end up just scrolling on social media mindlessly. So I'm thinking about posting a part 2 to this video because I do have a few more points that I wanted to cover that have really helped me to manage my own stress. But at the same time, I didn't want to make this video too long, so do let me know if you guys liked this video and if you found it helpful and whether you would enjoy seeing a part 2. Okay guys, as always, take care and see you in the next video.